Now.
Welcome to Chick Chat.
Yes, welcome to Chick Chat. I'm Aggie, and as always, Head in a
Uh,
Jar is with us, right?
well, I mean, Auntie Vodka, but shh, don't tell
Any
anyone.
any vodka.
Apologies for the sound of cars and birds and crap. If you can hear that, we're just doing a nature show tonight, so whatever.
That's nice. That's nice.
Yeah.
I did. I that is one of the things that I enjoy about going on my walks is that I get to kind of commune with nature because there's not a lot of people out in the park at the hour that I go. And every so often, I'll see rats, I'll see snakes, I'll see possums, I'll see
Did
random.
you say rats?
Yeah, yeah. We
Oh.
get rats in the park, but there it's all part of the whole circle of life, So,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I tend to. I mean, I see them, they see me, they run away, so that's good. It's
Yep.
an understanding.
I hear that. I just go walk around the yard, the compound, and it's funny. This is a nice segue. Have you noticed any significant changes in the wildlife that you're seeing around you in the last couple of months?
I have noticed a few little changes. I mean, it's really funny, but a lot of people. I live in an area where deer were prevalent and hadn't seen them for a very long time. And lately, I've started to see them coming back in. And of course, the coyotes. They have become more
Mm,
at home in the area.
yeah. Well, that
And
explains where my deer went because there have been years where there are just flocks of deers. They wear a path through the woods and whatnot, and they leave poop everywhere. And of course, coyotes. And sometimes we've had flocks of 30 turkeys in our yard. I mean, not usually, it's usually like, 5 or 10. And I don't know what's happened in the last couple of months. You'd think with so little traffic, because for a while it was a ghost town here. I mean, it was just like driving
yeah,
out on the road, like, woohoo, nobody else is out. And I don't know what's going on. My birds are gone. I've had my bird feeder filled for like a week, and I don't know what's happening because that has never happened before. Like,
I've
they
got it.
clean that thing out in a day. The birds aren't around, the deer aren't around, no turkeys. I'm like, what the hell's going on? Like, is there like a volcano underneath me? Which probably not, but it's really weird. I don't,
I think you would feel the heat if there were a super caldera underneath. But
you never
that's
know. Those sneaky bastards can just lie dormant, like nature's herpes or, a stalker or whatever. Who knows?
yeah.
Yeah, it's just weird. I was almost hoping you were gonna be like, yeah, actually, da da da. I'm like, okay, crap, it's just me.
Well,
Although there's a big field
that
of crap near me, like stuff that birds and whatever would eat. So maybe they're cleaning that out instead of me.
it could be that they found another food source. So that's. And they know that you're on the regular, so they may have gone to the new food source because it's novel, you know.
Yeah. Oh, I'm on the regular when I feel like it. And then sometimes I'm not, and they will sit out there and kind of, and I think in their birdie way, they're bitching at me like, why haven't you filled the feeder? I'm like, I've got other things going on, birds, and you guys can be a bit gluttonous. Do you guys have like grackles, those huge flocks of grackles and crap or blackbirds or whatever down there? I mean, there's like
Oh my
10,000 of them.
goodness, all
Ugh.
over the place. And it's really funny because, they come here. This is where they come for the winter.
Oh, that's where they go.
Yeah, this is where, I mean, we get grackles and ravens, crows, everything. This is where they come for the winter, it seems like to me.
I wish the chipmunks went down there for the winter, but they
You,
don't.
they're like around November timeframe. You're going to the local grocery store, and the trees, they don't have any leaves anymore, but they're completely bushy black because they're
Mm-hmm.
full of birds, right? So it's kind of
Yo, the first time you see that, um, it is really, really weird. I think the first time I experienced one of those flocks, we get them around here so bad that a neighbor has like an air cannon that like
yeah.
blasts every 10 minutes or 15 minutes or whatever to get rid of them, which of course I also had an experience before. But I think I was sitting inside or something, and I hear this noise like a very high pitched train. And I'm like, what is that? And I go look outside. I'm like, oh my God, it's a Hitchcock film. What is happening right now? It was weird.
I'm dying.
You know what I find myself sitting on my porch and looking out at the woods and thinking, I wish there were more really large raptors. Like, couldn't we bring back some pterodactyls? I want some big
Girl, no,
birds of prey
no,
with
no.
big old
I saw
claws
that
and crap.
movie. I saw that movie. It did not end well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. I mean, like min pin ones, like toy pterodactyls. I feel like that. I just want big giant birds swooping around, and the biggest we get are those turkey vulture things,
Hmm.
and they're like, oh, I smell something bloated and fetid. It
It
smells
was
awful.
it was funny because I was driving. I was actually going to another park to set out some rocks for people to find and.
Can you not? We're recording. Okay, thank you. Yep, I'm being admonished not to wish for pterodactyls. I do what I want. Maybe not. Okay, not pterodactyls. How about like a bunch of eagles? Like big eagles.
Well, don't you get bald eagles up there?
Very rarely. They congregate more, um, like near. I don't know. Okay, excuse me. Goodness. Occasionally we get blue herons, which is awesome. I'm
Oh,
like a
those are
bird
just.
freak.
I
I
love.
love the birds.
I know it was. That was one of the things I saw at. We were at. I think it was Huntsville,
Mm-hmm.
visiting people and stuff, and we're at a lake, and this blue heron out of nowhere it just comes and lands not 20 feet from where we were all congregating for barbecue, and it was
Oh,
like everybody stopped everything that they were doing. Look at the blue heron, and
they're
we
so
literally just walked there
magical,
for like 3 minutes with nobody
right?
anything. It was pretty funny.
They fly so silently and they're so majestic. I'm always like, ooh, it makes me feel all hoogly googly, like I'm special because there was a blue heron. I don't know.
Not my fun. The fun ones are the pelicans when I'm out in Galveston and you know just out on the pier. It used to be a hotel. It got wiped out during a hurricane, and now it's like
Beach.
a
Now
no,
it's a beach.
it's like Coney Island. So
Ooh.
it's all on this pier now and everything. And every so often, I'll go visit friends out there, and we go and we're sitting out there by the pier and everything, looking out at the water, and suddenly we see this pelican bobbing up and down with the waves, and it's he looks up and looks at us and saying, "Yeah, I know what I'm doing."
Pelicans are awesome.
They really are. They're very. You don't. It's really funny because I always thought that they were very clunky birds, but no, they're very graceful birds. They're really neat, and it's just fun to watch them. But I always thought that it was funny that I'm like, he's just bobbing along with the waves and looking up at us, and Gives us
I'm
that
just jealous
like.
that they can take a whole fish and just be like, "Arr, arr, arr, arr." I feel like I would dig that. I would
It's kind
also
of
dig
like me
being
with a pint of ice cream. I can do the same thing.
oh I would also dig being a bear. I'm like, I'd be grabbing salmon out of that river, and if I had some lemon and soy sauce and a knife, that's it. I'm good. I'm gonna eat that whole thing. I mean, maybe not the guts and the head, but you know, ugh,
That
fresh
was, it's
salmon.
really funny because growing up, I never learned to clean or gut fish, rather. But my mom taught me how to descale it, so cleaning it that way. And then
Yeah,
and then she would like cook the whole thing over a fire. Either if we had the cast iron pan available, or if not, she would just put them on the stick and just cook them over the fire like that.
nice.
And then it was up to us, and she said, "Careful with the bones. If you swallow
Yeah,
them, you won't die." Blah 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 blah.
but you'll
Right?
feel like you will.
But it was funny because she's like, "You're on your fucking own."
Oh yeah, like don't ever trust anything that says boneless when it comes to fish
No, no,
because
it's
there's
boneless
no guarantee.
thing. There's no
One
such.
of my kids was like, "Does this salmon have bones in it?" I'm like, "It might. Like it's not supposed to, but they get missed and there's not that feeling when you're chewing on you're like, "Oh, salmon's so good." And you're like, "Ow. What the hell is that?" That's always a drag, but whatever. You got to kind of just rub your finger along it, and you can either get this, you can get the prick in your, oh boy, you can get the prick from the bone in your mouth. Okay, that doesn't sound any better. Or you can get the prick in your finger, and well, there we go with that. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
It was a
It,
challenge, and we
yeah,
were kids,
it's
and
the
we knew
price
we
of eating fish.
tried. But nowadays, you can't do that. Everything is like so coddled, and you know,
Right?
it was like my good morning tweet. It was the merry-go-round at the park that you would like spin around and round and round, and kids would go flying off. You got up, you dusted yourself off, and went back on it again.
Do
That's
you
what we did.
remember those steel Faraday cages in our school? What the hell? You go outside for recess, those steel Faraday cages, the jungle gym that
Yes.
were like 19 feet tall at the center. Nobody was like, you have to wear a helmet and some knee pads.
No,
That is what's wrong with these.
it's
Not even
really it's
kids.
really
That's what's
sad because
wrong with
there's
like a certain generation today is you never fell and scraped your knee. Somebody posted something the other day. Only 90s kids will get this. A big fat bubbly scar on your knee from where you fell off something or you were running wicked fast and you slid down a hill on your knee. I have one of those and
no,
most of us do.
most of us have those scars. They're battle
Yep.
scars, well
That
earned.
that's right. I
But
have a massive scar on on my middle finger on one of my hands that runs the entire length of the second, the middle, whatever the hell they call that, because I was allowed to carve the babysitter let me carve a pumpkin when I was like 7 or 8. And well, I didn't really understand that, like when you're carving a pumpkin and the knife gets wet, that your hand might slide down the blade and slice the
right.
crap out of you.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that was fun. So I didn't have a babysitter after that because my parents figured that threats would work better and that pothead girl probably shouldn't babysit me anymore. Latchkey kids for the win.
Well, I did not have that kind of an experience, but I still remember when weirdly, since we're talking about playgrounds, I did notice on one of my walks that the playground at the subdivision to the north of me decided to enclose it all behind gates.
But bubble wrap? Did they bubble wrap everything too?
Well, the whole thing has either mulch or that crumbly, rubber
Recycled.
stuff.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, there's the flock of grackles.